time. And that was taken to be reference to the fact that Sherman had a tendency to burst into flames. Now, you're going to see now a number of different Shermans. On the whole, the main difference between them is the engine they've got pushing them around. Just about every sizable engineering company in America was turned out producing armaments as soon as America knew it was going to enter the war. Those factories didn't have access necessarily to the same engine, so different factories produced different Shermans with different engines. Now, as they come round, the first one we can see here is the M4A2. And the engine you can hear. There we are, we've got twin Detroit diesels in the back there pushing around. You may recognise that one, of course, that's our famous film star tank, Fury. The next one coming out here is the M4A4. And he's got a siren, ladies and gentlemen. This was the most commonly used tank by the British and has the famous or infamous Chrysler multi-back engine in there. We now have a couple of very important vehicles, ones we've not seen here at the museum before, the M50 and the M51. I'm going to say nothing about those because my colleague Stuart's going to talk about those in a moment or two. In fact, they were all pretty much being made at the same time. Modifications were made throughout the life of the tank. So for instance, you'll notice two distinct types of suspension on these vehicles. One is called a vertical balloon suspension, the other one is a horizontal balloon suspension. So BVSS and HVSS. The HVSS is the one of the two, and that was what retrofitted to pre-existing vehicles. Even the guns differ slightly. They obviously did. The last two have got much bigger guns than the previous one. But the main gun of the Sherman M4 was an adequate 75mm. When they were first used by the British in the Battle of Alamein in 1942, that would be an M4.